I'm currently on a flight from London to Doha, which is in Qatar, and the reason I'm going there is that I'm on my way to Melbourne in Australia, so I'm going to stop in Doha for a couple of hours, and then I've got a really long flight from Doha to Melbourne. So this flight I'm on is 7 hours long, and then the next one's 14 and a half hours, and I've got a 2.5 hour wait in Doha. So it's a 24-hour trip all in, and I'm sitting in one of these Qsuites, the business class. This is seen to be the best business class in the world. This thing here is my door, so I've got a door onto the aisle, so I basically can give myself full privacy here, so it's fantastic. And you can see that this is actually quite high, so I've got real privacy. Even when people are walking past, they can't really see in unless they leaned right over. So this is incredible, and the space I've got here is massive. I've got 2 windows, so that gives you a perspective of how much space I've got. I've got this massive telly, absolutely huge. I've got a huge amount of leg room here. This bed goes flat when I put it out. Alongside my seat, I've also got this little stool which doubles up as my storage area, but I can sit on this, it sort of goes up and down. So I've got a huge amount of space. This is absolute luxury. It does not get any better than this. I've travelled with British Airways first class. This is better. This is business class. There isn't a first class on this plane, it's just business. So Qsuite is sort of a mixture of first and business. And the great thing about this flight is that I didn't have to pay for it. I actually got it for free, and you could too. So the great thing about Qatar Airlines is that they're part of the Avios group, which is used by British Airways. So I had a lot of Avios points from a credit card that I took on. So basically every time I use that credit card, it's actually a platinum Amex card, so it's the one that earns the most points out of all of them. Every time I use that card, I earn Avios points, so that just builds up and builds up. So every time I go to the supermarket, buy some food, book a flight, do whatever, just normal everyday spending. So I put all of my spending onto my credit card, so it maximises the amount of points that I'm getting, build up the Avios points, and I built up a lot, so I've got about 500,000 points. So I've been doing this for quite a while. I do all the promotions. If there's anything that comes out whereby there's bonus points, I try to do that. So I built up a lot of points. I then went on to Qatar Airlines, had to book this sometime in advance, and basically managed to get these flights. So I got Qsuite, so you can check on Qatar whether or not you're going to get this Qsuite, because they do have some other business class which isn't quite as good, and I wouldn't recommend doing that. So I basically waited, found I was flexible on the dates, which helps when you're booking with points, managed to get Qsuite all the way from London to Melbourne and return as well. So absolutely amazing. So I've used up a lot of points. It did cost me 180,000 points each way, so I'd spent 360,000 points, but do you know what? I don't care because they're free. I didn't pay for them, I just built them up using my credit card. So yeah, it's a lot of points, and maybe I could have got a better deal. I've seen things on YouTube where people have got Qsuite for 70,000. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, I don't know. I certainly couldn't see anything for 70,000, but I didn't really care because I wanted to come and try this and see what it's like. Now you do have to pay some tax. That's the only problem when you book anything with points. So I did pay £560 in total. So £280 for the flight to Melbourne and £280 tax for the flight back. So £560 for basically the best airline seat in the world all the way to Melbourne, one of the longest flights that you can do, almost 24 hours of travelling. What an absolute bargain. Now so far the experience has been incredible. I got to Heathrow, and you have your own priority check-in, so everybody was queuing for normal Qatar Airlines. I got taken to the business section. They basically sit you down, so I sat down in like a little lounge area that was all private. They took my bag off me when I first arrived there, took my suitcase away. They then called me over. My suitcase was where they wanted me to actually just check in. Went over, everything was ready. Took me 30 seconds to check in. They gave me the boarding pass, and then I came through to the Qatar lounge, the business lounge. Brilliant. Basically as good as a first class lounge anywhere. They had an a la carte menu restaurant, so it was white linen table service. You could order whatever you wanted. It came super quick. I had eggs royale, which is basically a poached egg with salmon on a muffin with some hollandaise sauce. Brilliant. Some tea. They also had a buffet style, but it was really impressive. So I got some fruit and some yogurt from that. Really nice area, really relaxed, really cool. They then came to me at my table and said, your flight is now boarding, sir. So there were no announcements in there. There was no tannoys, just basically private service. Came straight onto the plane. I'm now in seat 3A, which is backward facing. So I'm facing away from the direction of travel. First time I've done that. Just incredible. So if you want to do this, if you want to sit like me in this luxury, sort of have this amazing space, basically have your own private, and the other thing about this is that you've got Wi-Fi that actually works. So I've been watching YouTube on my phone. You can basically do anything that you like. That's all included. It's all free. So I can basically work as if I'm at home in my office, but I'm on my way to Melbourne. So this is amazing. And as I said, I didn't pay for the flights. They're absolutely free. So it's just, why wouldn't you do this? So if you spend money ever, then get yourself a credit card that earns you some points, some miles. Avios is if you want to fly with Qatar, but you can do it with any airline. There's lots and lots of different credit cards that build up points where you can then earn free flights. You do have to pay a little bit of tax, but to be honest, the tax is irrelevant. I think I'll probably have enough value from the food and drink offering on here to get most of my £280 each way back, because I'm travelling for 24 hours. So I've already had quite a lot to eat in the lounge. I'm going to have quite a lot to eat on board. I've then got another lounge in Doha. I then got another flight that's 14 and a half hours long. So yeah, that would cost me a fortune if I was paying for all of that stuff. So just wanted to make this video really to make you aware that you can fly in luxury like this as long as you plan ahead, build up the points, book your flights. You will have to pay a little bit of tax, but to be honest, it is a no-brainer. So hopefully you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, then please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you again on the next flight.